We'll be beginning now. So hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our monthly Xoogler June Founders Day, Pitch Day. Today we have 4 startups with us. We're very honored to have Peak presented by Sherry. We have Design Pro presented by Muhammad, Social Seal by Angelica, as well as Clarence by Nick. So that will be the order of the presentation as well. We'll have Sherry first present Peak, and the presentation format will be 5 to 7 minutes for each pitch, followed by a short Q&A session where anyone can ask any questions that you may have. So without any further ado, let's welcome Sherry, and take it away, Sherry.
Awesome. Thank you all for having me. Let me know if you can see my slides here. Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Sherry, and I'm one of the co-founders of Peak. We're building an AI native personal finance app for Gen Zs. Now, Gen Z wants to be good with their money, but many times the system really wasn't built for their brains. So let's just take Emma as an example of a user. She's 23 years old and really excited about starting her first job in New York City, but she doesn't really know what to do with her paycheck or how to, do certain things to help her be good about savings, etc. But she's given it a shot. So number one, she has tried a few apps. There's one called Monarch Money, which is the continuation of like Mint.com, but she finds that the chart's a bit overwhelming and she doesn't quite know what to do. So she closes the app. Then she goes into Google and finds herself on Reddit, which many people use for personal finance, but finds it hard to relate to content that is not related to her specific situation. And then finally, she tries to go to a Gen Z native platform like TikTok, finds these Notion templates to download, but all it really tells her is she spent $1,000 on food, but doesn't give her meaningful insight around what kind of action she can actually take. So that is why we're taking a different approach when it comes to personal finance. Instead of these dashboard apps and numbers, we're going to focus on the actual friction areas, which are more around behavior, emotion, and action. So Peak is this AI native personal finance app that's targeting Gen Z specifically for this problem. So what Peak includes is, number one, these features that condense what would have been hours spent digesting dashboards in Excel into really digestible story cards that can be read in 30 seconds. So think of this almost like a Spotify Wrapped, but for your finances. So for someone like Emma, she can instantly see what her biggest spending leaks are. And not surprisingly, spending restaurants money on the weekend in New York is very common for young folks to be spending a lot in. Now, what we also have at Peak is a conversational AI that sounds like a friend, but just happens to know everything about your money. So what we log is thousands of these different microsignals beyond just your transactions. We'll look at goals, habits, as well as values that can be taken within the conversation that Emma has with Peak. So we know that Emma, has a bit of a spending leak around restaurants. We can tell that right away from actually connecting with Plaid and getting that data into Peak right away. So if it is Friday, we can send an intervention notification just to check in with Emma to see what she might be doing over the weekend. So just right before she may be potentially saying yes to too many expensive dinners at places like Carbone in New York. And then finally, what Peak aims to do is not just tell people to spend less, but also provide practical suggestions to actually rewire spending habits. So with Peak, Emma can actually use it to find out an exact grocery list that can cost $20 only to recreate her favorite pasta night from her restaurant. So that way, Emma can start saving without feeling that same kind of overwhelm and shame and start to feel good about her money. Now, Emma is not alone. There are going to be millions and millions of Emmas that are entering into the workforce. And by 2030, that's going to be 50 million Gen Zs that will be in the, working age. If we were just to capture 2% of this market as a subscription product, of people paying $100 a year, that is $100 a year, that is 100 million ARR opportunity by 2030. Next slide. And then as for where we are today, we actually launched recently 2 months ago and have reached 10,000 downloads and have gotten 7 times the number of engagement per week than you would see for a typical personal finance management app. And many people have been sharing that they've already started to build habits around using Peak, many times because it's much more focused on the action that you can take, as well as the emotional design that makes it feel a lot safer to use Peak than perhaps a banking app where you feel a bit more judged or feel like, you don't necessarily understand all the jargon that is within the app. And as for the team, I am one of the folks on the founding team, and then I have Jeff as well. And we've built and scaled software for those who, I guess everyone who's been at Google or is currently at Google. I worked on the payments team for India and used a lot of the same kind of behavioral science and growth thinking for growing GPay that I'm actually applying now for solving the wealth management problem for Gen Zs currently. So what we're doing is not just building another finance app. We want to rebuild personal finance from the ground up by focusing on the behavioral friction with the power of Gen AI to help Gen Zs become the main character in their own money story. As for where we're at with fundraising, we're looking to raise a pre-seed of 1 million, and we raised pre-seed of 1 million at 10 mil valuation cap. And for those who are interested, we will be happy to take any questions on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. I think we'll open the floor now for a while for any questions that anyone might have.
I have a question. Well done, Sherry. That was really excellent. I love the branding and also the the idea and it's very, very clear who your target market is. Can you talk a little bit more about your user acquisition strategy and anything that has already proven to be effective and what the strategy looks like for the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, great question. So initially, our first few thousand users actually came from founder-led branding on Twitter. We had a few posts that went viral across a few million views. That got us the first few downloads and then propelled us to actually #1 on Product Hunt just 2 weeks later off the backs of that. Since then, we've tilted from 80-90% founder-led branding to actually TikTok and Instagram marketing. So this is basically content where we partner with Gen Zs on using Peak to talk to their audience in a way that they've already been talking to, which is being really radically transparent around how they budget, showing actual numbers and figures, but now they use Peak to track and demonstrate that. So that is going to be, those are the two that we have today, and we'll focus a lot more on dialing up the second one. For those who don't know, B2C apps have grown tremendously using TikTok and Instagram. There's an example of a company called Cal AI. They're basically the AI Gen Z app for fitness that revolutionizes what MyFitnessPal did. And they made 30 million in ARR in 18 months off of purely short form video. So we're doing something similar. There's a big space that I think is available for the personal finance sector.
Thank you.
Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Chris.
So we all know you're a rock star entrepreneur. What kind of investors are you looking for?
Yeah, well, I think #1, investors who are interested in consumer apps and have, I guess consumer apps interested in behavioral science and some of the more emotional design aspects of apps as well. I think that's one. I think #2 is folks that have some kind of connection in the fintech space. I think eventually we would love to, for example, partner with guys like Klarna or other apps where a lot of Gen Zs are using the apps. Maybe perhaps not always the healthiest way, but perhaps Peak can bring a little bit of that rigor as well. So I think those are probably the two biggest. We definitely want to partner with folks that are high conviction in this area, and would love to grow with us.
You have international investors joining here. Eric just joined from London. Any particularly interesting things happening in UK for Peak, and do you think UK will be a good market for you?
Yeah, so currently,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sherry.
I can quickly answer, but I didn't mean to cut you off. So we are in the US only specifically right now because of the ease of getting Plaid connections for the US. That being said, the UK does have Plaid connections. We are just currently working through the process because it is slightly different than doing it for the US. But I think for the next markets, Canada and UK are definitely top of mind for that.
Sorry, Eric, sorry to cut you off. Did you want to say something?
No worries at all. Really enjoyed the presentation, Sherry. Thanks very much. That was going to be one of my questions, kind of, when you're planning on coming to the UK. So thanks, Chris, for asking that question. Maybe a follow-up would be, can you just help me understand the competitive landscape a bit more beyond kind of, the traditional banking apps? Who you're competing with kind of directly?
Yes, absolutely. So there is a company called Copilot Money, which was actually founded by an ex-Googler as well. And there's also a company called Monarch Money, which was founded by ex-Mint folks. And these are probably the two, I would say, most salient competitors in this space right now that are also doing subscription-based personal finance management. I would say the biggest difference is that they focus on a really different target audience. So they're more like the folks that were, they call them Mint refugees, right? So when Mint.com went away, millions of people were looking for solutions. And so these are, I would say, like a step up enhancement of what Mint had, but it's still, basically relying on the same kind of dashboard, I guess, mindset when it comes to financial management. A lot of people are already got that discipline and a bit of that financial savviness to use those products. I would say for our peak audience, they're 22 to 26, right? And so when they're looking at these products, they feel like it doesn't really quite speak to them the same kind of way. So we're looking at essentially a very different target audience.
Thank you.
Okay, I think let's congratulate Sherry on Peak, and thank you so much for the presentation. It was a great presentation. Now we'll have, so I think Sherry, you can also drop your LinkedIn in the chat as well, so that if anyone wants to connect with you to follow up on this will be a great opportunity too as well. And now we can move on. Next up, we have Mohammed with Design Pro. I'll let you take the stage, Mohammed.
All right, thank you so much. And thanks for the opportunity, everyone. It's always wonderful to connect with fellow Googlers. My name is Mo. I'm building Design Pro. And we're essentially thinking about what is coming next in the intersection of AI and product development. So a little bit about my founder and myself. So we are actually roommates from Stanford. We met in 1999. And I actually went to Stanford D School. After that, I joined Google, and I was the PM for AdWords Starter Edition, where we worked on the onboarding. I co-founded Google Trusted Tester Program, and then I also was the lead PM for Siri. And my co-founder, Murad, he did computer science at Stanford, worked at tech companies, Microsoft, and so on, and also worked at Apple, working on Mac OS X. And we have some great advisors, some from Google, who's helping us on solving some really difficult problems in AI vision and data personalization. So what we're doing is essentially working in product development. And we believe that there's a new product development era that's emerging with LLMs and AI agents. And the opportunity that we see is that the bottlenecks is now shifting. And it's shifting from shipping code, which we all understand can be done in minutes, and LLMs and Gen AI is really good at being able to do that well. But now the next phase is really a new slice of the product stack, which is called product discovery. And it's really concerned with building the right solutions to really win your customers. The problem is that product discovery has very long feedback loops. There's endless iterations of feedback, of user testing, product reviews are long, people are still stuck in meetings. For those of you Googlers that were aware of Marissa Meyer, you would have seen the long lines of product managers sitting outside of our office. And that kind of stuff still happens today, actually, in product development. And the products that we have available for this slice of the stack is actually still pretty much made in the last 10 years. It's still clunky, it's manual. You have to have a cost center for each one of these products. And the most important thing is that they don't actually seamlessly integrate with each other. And so the way we're thinking, it's different, it's new. It's actually collapsing this product discovery workflow in a very simple platform that is affordable for companies and very simple to use. So very much like how Canva collapsed the publishing industry into a very simple platform, we are collapsing this stage of the product discovery. And the idea is that you can actually close the analytics to design loop. And what that means is that when you come out with a new iteration of your design, our tool can actually generate new design and app variations that are informed by your analytics and your user research all within minutes. So I'd love to do a short demo just to show you how this works. So this is, hopefully you can see my screen. This is a product called Chat PRD. And it's essentially an AI tool that generates PRDs, mainly targeted for junior product managers. And so Claire Vaux came to me and said, hey, can you do an onboarding audit for us? And the problem that we aim to solve here is how do we convert their users into paying subscribers, right? And increase the revenue. And to do that, we really need to get the users to experience that aha moment of the product, right? To really see the value and the impact of the product. And so that's what our AI did. It went through and analyzed the product screen by screen on the live production version of theirs. And we generated these suggestions that gave solutions to the problems that it was finding. And so here's one example where our AI found an opportunity to actually deliver on the problem. And here, the user actually has to write the prompt to generate the PRD all by themselves, right? And these are junior PMs. They don't really know how to write great prompts. And so the AI identified and flagged that and suggested a couple of solutions. The first one says, replace the single blank prompt field with a 3-step thought unpacker that asks the users, what are they building, the key problem, who the PRD is for. So essentially providing more guidance in creating a great quality prompt, which generates a great quality PRD. And you can see here that actually the AI is trained on our own corpus of evidence-based psychology principles and behaviors. And it can even reason. So it can say a blank field is intimidating, especially for junior PMs, unsure how to frame a good prompt, right? Now, here's another solution to the same problem. And it says, alternatively, use a Mad Lib style prompt builder, right? And it gives the structure of that Mad Lib. And it even gives a screenshot that it found from another app in another industry. So really trying to bring all those insights from other industries to you, at your fingertips. And even more, it can actually generate these solutions that are informed by your own proprietary user research, right? Your own product knowledge, your own company product memory, so to speak. And it can even give the source of that, so you can go directly to the place in your user research, which is relevant to this particular solution idea, okay? Now, to truly make this agentic and to truly show that it can actually act on the ideas that it's generating, we actually just copied over a PNG of this suggestion of the thought unpacker. And let me just go back and show you that we can actually recreate that screen in Lovable, right? So one of the code gen AI tools, and we can actually copy and paste that suggestion, which now drops in the feature of the thought unpacker. I can click on it, and there we go. This is our thought unpacker all implemented. So not only can it give great ideas, it can actually implement it. And so where vibe coding is really great at coming up with a prototype, we call it the 0 to 1. Where we come in is we elevate that prototype, we get it ready to be shippable and actually solve problems to deliver on better customer experiences. So going back to the presentation, what makes us unique and what is our real true insight is that the way to solve the product discovery slice of the product stack is a very different approach than how LLMs and code gen tools are doing shipping, code shipping today. And the reason is because product discovery doesn't have a right answer, right? It doesn't just compile like code. It really depends on your contextual data. And so that is where we've been spending a lot of our R&D to actually ingest the right contextual data and to actually know what to pull out and what to assimilate and synthesize to then generate very high precision app revisions using vision and AI that drive back to those original outcomes, okay? Now, in terms of our traction, we're already the #1 tool in our space that we know of. We've been working on this for a little over a year on this particular direction, and we have 10,000 users. A lot of this is actually because of our integration. So, we integrated in Figma. You can see now that we have a potential of integrating in Lovable and Cursor, and we're even working with the Google Play team, and we're collaborating with them because they have thousands of Google Play apps that need to elevate the experiences. We've been able to 3x our usage just in the last 6 months by focusing on AI accuracy and precision of the vision model. And we even did the superhuman product market fit survey, and 60% of them said that they would essentially greatly miss our tool. Over the last 2 months, we've been looking to actually get real customers that are paying. So we now are at a 56K ARR rate. And yes, that's we've been getting some really great feedback and case studies out of this as well. So we're raising a 1.5 million seed. We want to get to our first 2 million ARR within the next 18 months. And yeah, if you're excited to join us on our journey, please let me know and love to talk to you. Thanks very much. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
I have a question. So you said that you already launched it like for a year, and how many users do you have, and how many paying users do you have?
We have so 10,000 users at the moment, and paying customers where we haven't actually turned on our pro tier, but we offered a premium version, which is essentially AI plus a human in the loop to ensure that we deliver high quality results. And we have 5 mid-tier startups that are paying us right now, and they're paying us $1,000 a month.
Eric, I think you raised your hand.
Hi, Mohammed. Thanks for the presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah, great. Can you talk about maybe what would you say are the top 2 biggest challenges you're seeing at the moment?
So the next 2 biggest challenges, #1 is AI accuracy. So solving the problem that we're trying to solve using vision and high precision, as well as being informed by analytics, is a hard problem. And we're currently at 70% accuracy. Our target is to get to 90% accuracy. And the way that we have figured out how to do it, we haven't done it yet, but we've done the R&D, is to do it through fine tuning and few shot learning. So that is how we're actually approaching it, using real life examples. So that's the first. And the second is to figure out how to do the integrations with code gen tools like Lovable, like Cursor, in a way that is super, super easy, not just for designers, but for developers. We've actually been getting feedback that developers would love to elevate their products. And it's just really figuring out how to deliver it in these tools in the most seamless way. So we're attempting to do it through an MCP server. And there's going to be more, to figure out how to integrate it with GitHub, code repositories, and so on. So I would say that's the second biggest challenge we have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Mohammed. I have a question as well. So
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that you'll be raising 1.2 million to try to get to, or 1.5 million to try to get to 2
1.5.
million ARR. Could you share a little bit more about maybe your strategy and how you plan to get to 2 million ARR?
Yes. So the strategies that have been working today, number one is integrations. So we've integrated into Figma, and we've actually been able to get to the numbers, the 10,000 users, just through the Figma app store. It works very similarly to Google Play or to the Apple App Store, right? People search for us, they find us just through that. We want to expand that. We want to do integrations into Lovable, into Cursor, into other tools where people are getting traction, and to be able to provide a really easy way to trigger Design Pro to analyze whatever it is that they're working on. The second, because you mentioned revenue, is honestly, I've just been using my own LinkedIn network. I've been doing cold LinkedIn calls, messages on LinkedIn, and through our own, credibility, our reputation, we've been getting the opportunity to, meet with mid-tier startups. And the last is through channels. So I mentioned Google Play. So we're actually in conversation now, I think, with the Pakistan team, the India team. Both of them have a whole bunch of Google Play apps in their community that need improvement, in their onboarding. The Google team themselves wants better compliance with material design systems. So that is another way that we're, exploring to expand and to use channel partnerships to broaden the reach. Yeah, hope that helps.
Hey Mo, Joe here.
Hey Chris.
I know it's on Chris, but it's actually Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Whatever.
Joe. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of times that 60% of your current revenue is from mid-tier startups. Are they your ICP, or is it something else and you just happen to land on it? And whether like other outfits like dev shops or tech consultancies that probably provide such services, so from a UX or design form in that manner, or product management, could they or will they benefit from it?
Yeah, so initially our hypothesis was really working with product teams within startups, and mid-tier startups are ideal because they've already found a level of product market fit. They've already figured out how to get demand, so users are coming to their product, but they're just not converting them into an activated user. They're not engaging them. That's where we do well. So that's where most of our traction has been around these product teams, so mid-tier startups. But we actually also realized another customer ICP sort of by accident, and it's actually design and consulting agencies. So we just signed a pilot with MetaLab. MetaLab actually is one of the top agencies in the world. They've actually had Google, Coinbase, Apple as clients. So we're really excited about that as well, because there are many agencies out there, and they also have a need to do faster reviews, speeding up the quality of their deliverables for their clients. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, man. Glad to hear that.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, if we have no further questions, thank you so much, Mohammed.
Sorry, Mr. Benny. I just want to ask Mo a very similar question that I asked Sherry. Mo, clearly you've super impressive background. What type of investors are you looking for? You heard Eric's in London. Clearly, we have other US investors. What kind of helpful investors are you looking for to join this round?
Well, I think I mean, first of all, Chris and many of the Xoogler community have been so amazing in giving me the opportunity to speak. And half our investors are Google connected in some shape or form. And many of them are builders themselves, right? They're either from the design team, they're product managers, like Jay Chen, who's our advisor now. They are engineers. So they're very familiar with this problem. Just intuitively, they know that they run into these bottlenecks. So I guess that's the ideal investor, because they just have experienced the problem that we're trying to solve. So I don't have to explain too much. But honestly, anyone who's just excited about the future of AI and building products, right? How products are going to be built in the future. That's the kind of investor that we're looking for. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Muhammad, for your pitch. And I think you can leave your LinkedIn in the chat as well, and people can connect with you there. But thank you so much for the presentation. Next up, we have Angelica from Social Seal. So Angelica,
Hello.
yep, take it away.
Okay, y'all can hear me?
Yep.
All right, let me share the slide. Okay, hi. Now before I start, how many of you scrolled your video and doom scrolled last night before you fell asleep? Or maybe sat on the toilet bowl and just kept going? Well, there's actually a ton of data to be basically gleaned from all of that. So there is a behavior. I talk about doom scrolling, but there's also this little rabbit hole. When you start to click and you start to search, this is where the data that we go for. We go for social search data, and we sell that to brands who use social video, basically short form video, as a growth channel. So similar to SEMrush, that helps websites rank on Google. We help brands be discovered by the right audience in social video search and uncover the growth opportunities. So little stat for you, 51% of Gen Zs actually use TikTok instead of Google search. The reason for that is if you search something like things to do in Japan, you'll find yourself like bombarded with text, some pictures here and there. But if you search the same thing on TikTok, you get pretty nice visuals and you get like humans everywhere, basically. So you can see for yourself, your eyes eat first, your eyes experience it first, and you can kind of put yourself in those places. So through all the SEO efforts by brands and AI summaries, people start to look for the authentic content to drive that final purchase. So brands are realizing that, and they're jumping on the trend by spending billions of dollars, 32 billion to be exact, on influencer marketing. And over here you can have the Chipotle grandma doing the guac dance. And through all this chaos of video, all the short form videos and whatnot, brands are looking for hard data. So particularly global and regional brands, to understand what scales and what is working in every market or every language. Sorry. So our team knows how to build data and AI products for marketers. Myself, I've been a growth marketer for 10 years, looking into affiliate and growth marketing, ex-agency, startup, and scale up, and then did partner marketing in Google One. My co-founder is AI ML engineer and has been doing data products for marketing teams for a pretty long time as well. So we are the first video-first search analytics platform, and I'll get to why after this. What we do is use AI to analyze videos and search results at scale across video platforms. So for now, we cover TikTok, but in due time will be Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, etc. So these are our pillars. We cover marketing effectiveness for short form videos. We also dig deep into product and consumer insights through crawling those videos as well to see what every market resonates with. And we also dig out creative insights at scale. So a particular country for a specific language may prefer a certain type of content or a certain hook as compared to another one just in market. So this is the space that we operate in. You'll notice earlier on I said video first. There's a reason for that. You'll find the big players like SEMrush that look at text. Then you also have Sprinkler, the ones that look at social listening. what we do is we look at search analytics. But through gleaming the results from search, we're able to actually pull in pretty interesting insights that also kind of cross with the social listening component. We have a design partner. Don't know if you know Klook. They're a travel tech unicorn. They operate globally, and they're one of the pioneers in user-generated content, UGC. And they use short-form video as a very, very strong lever for growth, and that's done very well for them. They're a design partner, and we started a pilot in mid-April. We have a signed LOI, and we're in the final stages of commercials with them for enterprise. And for them, they essentially want to track keywords, so the social search aspect, whereby important keywords like, let's say, things to do in Japan or for certain destinations that are very important for revenue, will help track that against competitors as well as any brand-related videos. They also have an affiliate program, so hence the 3,000 plus creators. Those are people who basically are signed up to earn money if there are referrals through them. And short-form video is a very, very strong channel for them. And yep, essentially on a monthly basis, we'll easily track now close to 1 million videos. Since they started in under a month, we had about 170K videos tracked and analyzed. Kareem is an interesting one, pilot and discussion. So for them, it was more a market expansion thing. They're a very strong leader in Dubai, but they're having interesting challenges trying to get into Abu Dhabi because of the cultural nuances. So for them, it was a case of trend spotting. So gleaming the insights from what people are searching for and what they resonate with in order to push out the right products or the trending products on time, or nail those exclusive partnerships before Deliveroo or their competitors do. And Aspire is a fintech startup based in Singapore. They're looking more for trying to target SMBs, and Ogilvy is an advertising firm. So they were looking into some search insights as well in the early access. So we have an ICP, and that is the mid to large B2C brands that operate regionally or globally. We're realizing our niche is actually very strong in travel and hospitality, basically the inspirational based ones, where brand recall is very important at the time of purchase or decision. CPG as well, gaming and fintech to a lesser extent currently. But these brands all focus on brand building. And they've already started allocating a decent amount of spend on influencer marketing. They understand the importance of UGC. And for the current outreach, we basically push out reports for the heads of growth and starting soon the commercials as well, because there are two aspects of what we provide earlier on the pillars. So one, for marketing effectiveness, the reason for that, let me hit back, sorry. Marketing effectiveness, the reason for this is because when you say you're pushing out a lot of UGC, you basically have content that is not tagged to the brand or content that is not with specific hashtags as you would normally find in a paid influencer program. And brands basically don't have any visibility into that. What we do is, because we crawl into the videos and we don't look at just text, we look at the video itself, we're able to call out the brand related components and help them to track and measure the metrics. Consumer commercials, because of product and consumer insights, that's where they can find potential product opportunities as well as partnership opportunities, so they can lock it in. And creative insights, that's for when they're trying to figure out how to scale in a market. Yeah, so we have a freemium SaaS model. We're usage-based rather than seats. So we go by the number of videos that are processed or tracked, or number of creators that are tracked. And our target LTV is about 50K per customer. And we're at 85% margin. But note that this is a baked in incremental margin. So 85% currently, but as the models and compute power gets cheaper, we will just increase our margins accordingly. So we have a 1.7 billion market opportunity. Bottom up, essentially it would cost about 4 cents to start tracking a video heavily. So the 162 million important search keywords for brands out there across languages and markets, that would basically involve about 39 billion videos to track, hence that $1.7 billion mark. So we're building the source of truth for social video across all the video platforms. And essentially what we want to do is to bridge that gap I mentioned earlier on, where we can link brand video activity with internal business metrics, so we can help to solve this attribution problem when it comes to this channel. And yeah, this is us. We're addressing an unmet need in a growing giant market. We have the right founder fit, and so far in the past, we launched this in the past since April, so 3 months. Yeah, we're getting pretty interesting chats with both agencies as well as the brands. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Do you have a traction slide that you can share?
Oh, is it this one? Yeah, so for Klook, we just had a call with the product team and engineering team to talk about the API integration, because for them, they want the data to be pulled into their internal dashboards. So I think I can give you a bit of context. So for Klook, actually, what happened was they've been looking for a tool like this for 2 years. They've talked to TikTok, Google, the YouTube team essentially, and Meta. And what they realized was none of these video platforms are going to give them the data that they need, because that basically eats into their ad revenue model. And they want people to basically pay to play to get that data on track. So we came in and we validated this with them. Hence, they hopped on board as a design partner, because they were like, we looked for this for 2 years. And if you can solve this, we're on board. So we solved it. They're still using it on a daily basis across the global teams. So yeah, closing that soon.
Got it. How much are you raising? Can you move to that slide?
Oh yeah. Where did that go? Oh, okay. Sorry, here you go. No, I kept it in the appendix, but yeah, we're raising 500K for 10% equity. So we've done the numbers. We will reach 1 million ARR in a year, and after that, we're gonna get 10 mil in 2 years.
Thank you. I'll reach out to you offline.
Sure.
Hey, Angelica.
Hello.
Hi, Joe here.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm just curious. You mentioned obviously you guys gather some insights, and just now you also mentioned creative insights as potentially outputs. I was just wondering what are these metrics or insights are you referring to? Like, or can you maybe just walk us through how a user can benefit against their metrics and find it valuable to change to these creative?
For creative insights?
Yeah, and because you mentioned business metrics earlier, so I was just wondering, like, how does your users, like, what business metrics are they looking for, and how do they convert that into creative insights?
Right. And so for there's something in the marketing book called share of voice. That's very important for brands. When they launch campaigns or big campaigns, they tend to pay market research, like brand studies on the ground, to basically collate the incremental share of voice after a big campaign is launched. What we do is, because we're able to track on a daily basis the metrics increment or decrease, we're able to show them in real time how their particular big campaign pushes are doing and how they're ranking on search as well. So over here, I don't know if you can read it, but what we cover is say the viewership, share of voice against competitors. Then you have your likes, your engagement rate, as well as your average rank and your best rank in those important keywords as well. Then we just glean the insights from there. For creative insights, this one, when paired with the business metrics, essentially shows certain patterns. So for example, if you have, a recent conversation, basically we are talking to Ogilvy about the Coca-Cola account in Southeast Asia. And what's happening there is they're trying to figure out what creatives resonate in market. So for example, in Malaysia, they were wondering, okay, if I have, there's a visual elements bit here. If the 20 ranking videos and the ones that basically are consistently ranking in the top 20 and constantly bringing longevity for the brand, or other brands or competitors and whatnot, do they have a specific component that keeps popping up? Is there a winning formula? So perhaps it could be outdoor shoots with a Coca-Cola bottle in the camping scene or something like that, that seems to resonate a lot with the Malaysian market in Mandarin, for example, versus if I were to search the same query in Malay or in English, there could be different preferences that maintain rank and maintain viewership as well. So all these elements on a day-to-day, as a human being, I would not be able to glean, but because we track on a daily basis and we can pull that in, we can show there's like data behind what works.
I see. So just want to confirm. So the column, the metrics in the column of marketing effectiveness, that's where you say these are the metrics that the companies are looking for, but haven't found ever since, and you guys can solve that gap, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No, because thank you. No, because we basically track not just, so I talked about creators, right? So there are preset creators that a brand will work with, and those are the account handles that they will provide. But there's a gap whereby you have just a regular everyday person like me, for example, maybe just walking past an Estee Lauder booth in a mall. I take a video, I talk about it, like, oh, this is great for my skin. Then I just happen to rank number 10 or number 15 for like 5 months. But Estee Lauder doesn't have any attribution to that because I didn't tag the brand. I didn't hashtag any particular thing. I just talked about it. So that's the big gap in terms of marketing measurements that we solve as well. So we pull that in, and then brands are able to see at a glance, okay, is it a preset, let's say a listed creator that works with us or for us, or is it pure UGC, or is it a brand account? Let's say it's, for example, look, attribute to account. Then they'll see that difference.
Yeah, I can see how that's relevant. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess so. I'll ask the same question, Angelica. What kind of investors are you looking for? What kind of experience and background would be most helpful for your startup?
If anyone is working a lot with the B2C global regional brands, particularly in travel and hospitality, we found a fit in traveltech. Let me get to that slide. Yeah, so traveltech or food delivery, surprisingly. So food delivery partners, all that, because what they try and do is they try and get revenue opportunities through transporting. That's important for us, to team up with the commercial teams. If you know any, let me bring you here. So if you know any agencies who are pitching to big brands that we ordinarily would not be able to reach, we are happy to co-pitch with them, work on a retainer model with the agency as well. This has been an interesting emerging trend for us. They're a pretty good channel partner in the sense that they want interesting insights and data for their clients or for their accounts, whether or not it's existing or new. And so all these discussions have emerged. So if you know any investors who also look into the B2C travel industry, very happy to talk. Or if you work for a brand yourself and you're in the commercials team or the growth team. There we go. Thank you.
Thanks, Angelica, for the pitch. You can go ahead and drop your LinkedIn as well in the chat, and I'm sure people will be reaching out to you. And last but not least, we have Clarence, and Nick will be pitching for Clarence.
Cool. Thanks, Benny. Pull that up. All right. Everyone see the deck?
Yep. Looks great.
Cool. Sweet. So this is Clarence. What we find interesting is every once in a while, a technology is going to come along that lets us completely reimagine an industry, not just change it incrementally, but rebuild it from the ground up. Insurance is one of humanity's greatest ideas. It protects us, our businesses, our dreams, but it has been trapped in the past. And LLMs are one of the few beautiful use cases that could absolutely unlock it. And so at Clarence, we're not just trying to automate paperwork. We're looking at reinventing how brokers keep people safe. And so here's how. As we all know, insurance is massive, yet it is strangely untouched by innovation. Think about this. Most insurance agencies, they're actually incredibly tiny, only 2.5 employees on average. And most of them are using technology platforms from the Reagan era. But here's the true madness. Every day, brokers spend about 40 to 60% of their day retyping the same details again and again and again. It's essentially just taking a little bit of application data, but putting it out into all of these different disparate systems. And so what we're looking to do is how can you apply AI and LLM, specifically taking all of this unstructured data and restructuring it. And so this is the platform that we've been building. A broker at its core is nothing more than a salesperson. And so what do they need to do? They need to prospect, find new clients. They need to take that information, restructure it, get it over to an insurance carrier, get an understanding of how much that carrier wants to underwrite that risk, and then send it back to you. Once they've bound a policy, all they need to do is make changes for you or issue a claim, so on and so forth, all of which can pretty much be on autopilot. And so what we've built to date is exactly that. We've built for brokers themselves, essentially a Gong equivalent to make things easier for the explanation of this pitch. We've also built a back-end system that allows anyone to call in. Essentially, our platform will take the calls using voice AI and service all of the adjustments or claims that you need from your customers. But despite all of this amazing tech that we've been building, as well as our competitors, brokers are just fundamentally terrible at adapting technology. They're stubborn. They're also kind of old. And so they have never really embraced technology. These two companies on the left are the only two software companies in a $7 trillion industry who have actually reached $1 billion in valuation. So what we've decided is to actually flip the script. We're actually buying brokers and then dropping in our technology. So that way we can actually implement the change that all of us desire, yet most agencies just have been unwilling to do. And so to do this, what we're doing is we're building out the full technology platform. So as I alluded to, we've already built something that helps increase revenue and closing of new sales. But in addition, we've also started to build the back end to actually service it. In general, it's going to take us about 12 to 18 months to finalize the full end-to-end platform where everything within an agency could be fully automated. But from a go-to-market perspective, the real superpower, the real juice here is that we're actually going to go after these 25,000 independent agencies that make anywhere between $500 to $1 million in EBITDA. And we're going to acquire them at somewhere between 5 to 7 times EBITDA and then drop in our AI. And so we can buy things that have 15% EBITDA margins and hopefully overnight start to see massive incremental gains in their EBITDA margins. And the objective here is, can we, in a short amount of time, acquire 100 small agencies at a 6 times multiple and build a $100 million ARR platform? This is not something that is universal, or this is not something that would be unique to us. Private equity has actually already proven this. And the numbers of us trying to acquire around 100 agencies in a year is also something that all of these agencies have done. But as you can see here, there are over 20 insurance brokerages in the US that already do over $1 billion and are worth over $20 billion in value. And so Mike and I, we're also repeat founders. I've built a pet health insurance company and ran growth for a venture-backed pet health insurance company where I grew them from 30 to 300 million in ARR in 2 years. Last mark on that venture-backed company was 2 billion. Mike was at Google. He also was in for 5 years as a tech lead. And then after that, went and stood up Harmony One, which was a layer 1 blockchain. At its peak, it was trading at $5 billion. It's now come down a little bit because of the crypto winter, but it's on its way back up. And all of our advisors have been in the insurance industry for all of their years, or all of their careers. And so this is what we're raising. We're raising 5 million. We have 2.5 committed already to finalize our autopilot and to close our first 2 acquisitions. The objective being is within the next 12 to 18 months, we'll be at 10 million in ARR, have successfully integrated two platforms, and also dropped in our AI, setting us up to then go out and raise an incremental round of anywhere between 25 to 30 million in fresh equity to go out and essentially acquire the remaining businesses. And that's it. I can take you guys to a demo if anyone's curious, but that is the strategy at hand. Questions?
Yep, Eric, please go ahead.
Thanks, Nick, for the preso. Just a quick question about these acquisitions. Is this,
Yep.
do you see this as a kind of a short-term strategy to acquire a few and kind of sort of prove what you guys have built and then kind of scale, or is this kind of inherently part of the growth strategy?
Yeah, exactly. So, any M&A strategy, frankly, relies on true integration. Private equity can sometimes just bolt on a bunch of deals, but they don't really do much integration. And then so they build platforms that can have 10, 20, 30, $50 million in EBITDA, but they're not actually integrated. What we're doing with this seed round is trying to build the playbook of how we can successfully fully automate these agencies and with our technology, and then from there go out and aggressively acquire the remainder. The acquisition strategy for us is really we're just trying to buy legacy books of business. And because most of these agencies only have 2 to 3 people, usually it's like one insurance agent who is actually selling, and then the other 2 are usually back office. And so the objective here is, could we, by fully automating most of the things that those back office people do, remove them from the cost structure and immediately sort of have this massive EBITDA lift? And really all we're trying to do is just keep the agents, because they're the ones that people want to talk to, and superpower them with all of our, essentially the gong that we've built for them. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? So, and then at a certain point, we really only will need around 50 to 60 million in equity, full equity. And then we'll be able to self-fund, because these are all really, insurance is a beautiful business. It's 90% retention, beautiful free cash flowing businesses.
Okay, and just sorry, just a follow-up. And I guess the exit strategy would be what? Selling the business to a large private equity business, or?
No, I think that right now I think what's unique about where we're at in this moment is Acrisure, for instance, they got from 40 million to 4 billion in revenue in 10 years, and they have over $1 billion in EBITDA right now. They're about to go public at 25 times is sort of what they're slated to go out at, and they have around a 25% EBITDA margin. So if you imagine if we could actually find these efficiency gains that we're proposing and go on a very similar trajectory, we could be at closer to, on their 4 billion, maybe 2 billion in EBITDA, and a much tastier profit, because we'd be tech enabled. The multiples that we would be able to achieve is going to be closer to 30 to 40 times. So at that point, we would go public. We could get acquired on this journey, but that's not the goal. I think right now is the moment where we could just take the market as much as we can, because there's 35,000 independent agencies in the US. The top 10,000 do a lot of the business, but this 25,000 is subscale, and most of these private equity roll-ups have not tried to touch them because it's so difficult to integrate them. Principally because they're just buying, so our goal is just buy the books, which is sort of a different way of doing customer acquisition. We could have a budget to go acquire independently, a single unit customers, but we could also just buy someone else's customer books and then integrate them into our platform and pay down the debt.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, Nick, similar question. What kind of investors are you looking for?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think someone who has an understanding of insurance market, because this is a very obviously complex industry, highly regulated. There's all sorts of, we didn't go into the details of all the different players within it, and the sort of the friction points. But so that'd be one side. The other side is someone who understands M&A and the integration side of things. You know, my background is I've done growth and I've done M&A, so we know how to do that. But still, integration is going to be the key to us proving this model works really, really well. And so someone that has probably a pretty good like operational understanding and how you can essentially institute change within organizations. That's someone we'd be interested in working with.
Thank you.
Cool. Sweet.
Okay, I thank you so much for the presentation, Nick. I think you can go ahead and drop your LinkedIn in the chat section. But with that being said, I will just have like I'll close the meeting room in 5 minutes to have a cool down, and if anyone needs to read the comments from any of the note takers that they were added into the call as well. But thank you guys so much for joining us on our June edition. And if you yourself are a founder, please do reach out to us to join us on the next few editions of July and August. July is currently filled up, so we hope to see most of you there again for the July section. Now we're opening slots for August as well. But with that being said, thank you guys so much, and yeah, have a great day wherever you guys are from. And yep, see you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for hosting, Benny.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. See you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.